The Lake District is wild, wonderful and truly magnificent. It's home to England's highest peak and its deepest lake, and is now a World Heritage Site. It is an amazing landscape, and for the last 20 years it's been my home and my playground. I've had a lifetime travelling the planet, exploring the great outdoors, but nothing beats the lakes. Sunrise on the summit, and I've got it to myself. In this series, I'll be going on some of my favourite hikes and checking out some of the Lake District's special places. Oof. In this episode, I'm heading for Coniston, one of Cumbria's centres of adventure. I'll get there using an unusual form of transport. Look at that. Absolutely flipping beautiful. I'll have a close shave while making some lakeland art. Careful, careful. And I'll have a crack at rock climbing on one of the Lake District's most notorious peaks. And there's a very airy traverse. Interesting moment. This is my Lake District. It's early on a Sunday morning in the Lakeland market town of Ulverston. It's famous as the birthplace of Stan Laurel. But while the locals sleep, an unusual event is taking shape. There's a hardy group who are wide awake and they're ready for some action, for a bike ride with a difference. The two-day-long Velo Retro Festival of Ancient Bikes takes place in the perfect cycling country of the Southern Lake District. From Ulverston, I'll be pedalling through rolling countryside to the famous lakeside village of Coniston. From there, I'll put my boots on for the hike to the top of the Old Man. I can't wait. But before then, I've just got to have a closer look at these bikes. Well, these are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
But you can't resist something like this, can you, with the rod brakes? Can I pick it up and see how heavy it is?
Yeah, of course you can. You can.
Oh, yeah, holy smokes. That's a proper bike.
That's a real bike. Once you get it going, it goes.
Does it do that? Yeah. Absolutely lovely. Can I show you my bike? Hang on, hang on. The bicycles here are beautiful, but conventional. Mine's a bit different. Here we go. Here's what I'm taking. Here's what I'm going to have a go on. What do you think?
Scary going down.
It's another, scary going down and impossible to go up. I'm going to try it on this fabulous piece of equipment. What do you reckon?
Have you? You're a very brave man.
I'm not sure what can possibly go wrong.
Rather you than me.
I just hope me and my penny farthing can make it through the hills to Coniston. Otherwise, it could become another fine mess. I started riding penny farthings a couple of years ago, but boy, it can be hard work. No kidding, yeah, these cobbles or something. I'm already struggling and I've not left Ulverston yet. It's a bit steeper than I thought. This could be a long old day. I'm away. For the uphills are complete killers, but you get a descent like this in the sunshine with the glorious Central Lake District right ahead. Look at that. Absolutely flipping beautiful. Wow, I feel like I've earned it too. My muscles are aching, but the views are to die for. The rest of the vintage bikes may have left me behind, but I've still got time for a little stop before I get to Coniston Village. I haven't finished yet, but who can resist a stop at a place just like this? It's Coniston Water, half a mile wide and 5 miles long, which means I've got a long way to go yet, but it's so beautiful. It's worth a stop, but I better get going. Arriving in Coniston on a penny farthing has certainly turned a few heads. But it's not the only thrill you can have on 2 wheels. Grizedale Forest is an adrenaline junkie's paradise. Under the cover of the trees, it's mountain biking that rules the roost. This couldn't be any more different than riding a penny farthing, but it looks like it's going to be just as gripping. Holly Henderson and Sam Flanagan are at the top of their game and are no strangers to extreme biking, and Grizedale pushes them to the limit. Polly, what is it, if it's definable, that makes Grizedale Forest such a great place to go mountain biking?
I think it's because you compare it to so many different places in the world and it's just as hard as them. So if you can ride here, you can pretty much ride anywhere.
So it really is a world-class centre?
The variety of trails, there's just something for everyone. There's family stuff, there's the steep, gnarly stuff down to Coniston, there's the jumps, as you will find out this afternoon, but yeah, there's stuff everywhere. Teaches you how to like pump and jump.
That's how I learnt to do it.
Pump and jump. Yeah. I'm not doing any of that this afternoon,
You
am
will
I?
be, you will be. No questions asked.
Yeah. So you started, when did you start mountain biking as a big thing?
I started racing when I was 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just cross country though, so kind of up and down hills.
I'd like to have a go. Just give me a few tips though. What do I need?
Put your flat pedals on, put your seat down and just let go of the brakes and hope for the best.
There's no need to adjust your TV. This isn't slow motion. Polly and Sam made it look easy, but for me, this is seat of the pants stuff. Okay. I did it.
That were awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you. But I have a confession to make. I was on the brakes, and Polly, I didn't do much popping and jumping.
No.
Next time.
And there's something, you know, I didn't think I would ever find anything as frightening as a penny farthing. And this is more frightening than a penny farthing, let me tell you.
Let go of the brakes next time. Then.
Yeah. Grizedale's run by the Forestry Commission, but as well as being great for bikes, in 1977 it became Britain's first forest sculpture park and is now full of works of art. And it's where I've found local artist Charlie Winnie. He can do stuff to trees that you wouldn't believe possible, and I'm going to help him.
Okay, so the plan is that we're going to chop down the tree behind you. Right. This afternoon I'm taking it to a sawmill and I'm going to chop it up into thin slices, and then it's going to go to my workshop, and you're going to help me steam bend it into lots of curves and beautiful shapes.
When it's finished, the artwork will return to this very spot to be woven back into the landscape. This tree has been chopped down in its prime, but it's about to have a new lease of life. 60, 70, let's call it 80.
80.
110 years old. Pressure's on.
I'm sorry.
Charlie.
I'm sorry.
You got 110 years.
I know. I know. I don't worry. We'll be fine.
The oak is hauled off to the wood mill, and a few days later, I'm in Charlie's workshop where the magic takes place. In his hands, wood takes on a new form. Steam heating makes the wood super bendy. Once out of their hot bath, It's a race against time to manipulate each plank while they're still flexible.
Bring it around here. Yeah. And then do it again, yeah.
Ready?
Yeah. We need to bend this bit here.
Up.
Okay. Can you hold that there? Have you got it?
Yeah, got it, yeah. It's harder than it looks, but I mean, there's a lot of pressure right here, Charlie, isn't there? Look at that.
And relax.
We've done one.
So we...
Look at that.
Yeah.
It's got me glove in there. Does that count?
And it's loving that now.
It is lovely. And
Yeah.
it is easy to bend, but why does the steam make it so easy to bend? What's actually going on?
Okay, so basically wood is made out of cellulose and lignin. And when you heat the lignin to 100 degrees centigrade, magically, you can put a force on the wood and then it'll
Because when we looked at this tree in the forest, it's this magic, you know, strong thing, isn't it? But here we are bending it quite easily.
Yeah. So again, we've got the same run out at this end.
Yep.
But should we go for a completely different shape this time?
Yes, please. What do you suggest? It's exhausting work and a real effort to hold the wood in place. With all the tension, these strips are like tightly coiled springs. Look at the way that fits.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Careful, careful.
Who'd have thought that creating art could be so perilous?
You're on. The #1 rule of steam bending is never ever...
Never slip off the end.
Never let go.
Each piece is bent into shape. Soon, they'll be back in Grizedale Forest. A few months later, the completed work is ready to view. I'm really looking forward to this because I haven't seen it. I've heard it's finished, but what's this thing going to look like, you know? Hard to believe that was once a live tree. Flipping beautiful. Look at that. This looks really flipping great.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I really do like it.
Yeah. The title of the work is Sharing, and it's to do with, it's kind of how like trees in the forest, they actually communicate with each other under the ground. If you are going to make sculpture, make it beautiful, I think. Yes. I think there's a reason why you would do that. So.
Which is my bit.
No,
I know I did some bits.
No, you honestly did. Can you see the crook of the two branches coming out? So,
Yeah.
so those ones are bits that we did when you were in the workshop.
Great. Charlie's sculpture will be here for a long time to come. But well before the area became known for its outdoor art, it had another reputation as a place where lives were put on the line. Coniston's place in history began in August 1939. Britain was on the verge of war in Europe, but there was another battle going on between the Brits and the Yanks as to who had the fastest boat on the planet. When Sir Malcolm Campbell reached 141 miles an hour on Coniston, he became the fastest man on water. But after the war, it was the Americans who were setting the pace. So Campbell's son Donald took the helm to try to bring the world record back to Blighty. Over the course of 2 decades, he did just that, often watched by his daughter Gina.
I knew he was a very special man, but I didn't know what he did was so special. You know, I'd grown up with my father being a record breaker. He sort of epitomizes the great English hero.
Yeah. In January 1967, he was back in Coniston with hopes of smashing the 300 miles an hour barrier. And amongst his crew was local lad Robbie Robinson.
It was fairly obvious when the Bluebird went down the lake past us, it was travelling really, really fast. It was quite difficult to actually keep up a smooth eye line with him. It was almost like it was jerky because your eyes were having to catch up with him.
Bluebird averaged 297 miles an hour on the outward leg and turned for the home run. The craft sped back towards the wash it had created earlier.
At some stage, quite difficult actually to remember, it began to lift out of the water.
At more than 300 miles an hour and ploughing through rough water, Donald was now in a desperate battle to save his life.
My sort of lasting memory is this gigantic sort of lobster-shaped craft leaping out of the water, turning a complete somersault, crashing back into the water almost in front of us.
At the moment of his death, the legend of Donald Campbell began.
In a strange way, my father's finest hour, his pinnacle, was the day he died. And you know what? He always said to me, Even when he was younger. Oh, you know, my bloody luck, I'll die of cancer or something. I'd like to die making love to a beautiful woman. Well, I always say he died at the hands of a beautiful bird, the bluebird.
In 2001, Donald Campbell's remains were located by divers. At his family's request, he was buried in Coniston.
I've brought a beautiful rose for my dad today.
Now get him in there. Yeah, great.
And of course, Mr. Woppet, he doesn't ever miss a trip to the lakes to come and say hello to Dad, because he was my dad's mascot. And when my dad died in '67, Mr. Woppet floated to the surface. He used to sit under my dad's seat in the boat. I always say he's the fastest bear on land and water.
Yes. So what do you think your father's legacy really is?
He'll always be my hero. And you know what? I'm very proud to be his daughter.
I think of him as a real hero.
Yes, he was, and that's nice to hear. Thank you.
Bluebird's story is now an integral part of Lakeland history. But long before the quest for speed, another boat here was making waves. This is the steamboat gondola, as much a part of the scenery as the Old Man of Coniston. This gondola's got a fascinating history. Originally built in the 1850s to take tourists on trips as part of the Grand Tour of Britain. And she was state-of-the-art design, marrying the boiler from a railway engine on a hull based on a Venetian gondola. And she's a thing of beauty. Now 20,000 passengers a year enjoy a Lakeland cruise. And she's taken me to that house right there that dominates the eastern side of Coniston. Brantwood was once home to one of the great minds of the Victorian age. John Ruskin was an early advocate of free education, the minimum wage, and a national health service. And from this house, he also wrote about how the lakes were being affected by pollution from the factories and mills of the northwest of England.
So this is an example of just how prolific a writer Ruskin was. This is volume 34 of collected works. But in this you've got the Storm Cloud of the 19th century, which was the lecture that he gave in London about climate change. And here you see a drawing which he's made of the sky at Brantwood in 1880.
Oh yeah, this is Old Man of Coniston, obviously.
That's right, yes. And if you look at the text of this, I mean, it's all about the physical structure of the clouds. He's trying to understand how light comes through the clouds and what that reveals about the structure and nature of the clouds. He's interested in the deeper understanding, really fundamentally, of why the cloud is like it is, and he's convinced that there may be human agency at work in this from pollution in the sky.
So he's looking at that as a view to climate change, you know, the fact that we're affecting the atmosphere and it's affecting us.
Yes, because industrialisation is encroaching on this landscape, and there are literally 12 miles behind this mountain blast furnaces that are beginning to emit pollution.
And when was this lecture?
1880.
With the factory smog encroaching on his beloved lakes and mountains, Ruskin decided to use Brantwood as his laboratory. The very first thing that John Ruskin did to this house was build this observational turret, and it works perfectly. He's got this great view. He could make accurate scientific observations. He could analyse nature, and he could give us the right language to understand nature that we're still using today. Ruskin was part of a conservation movement that successfully pushed for the lakes to be preserved for future generations. Well, Howard, I think it's exciting business that Ruskin would have looked at that view and seen it relatively unchanged.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, really. I think it's 150 years after he came here. And fundamentally, it's almost exactly the same landscape to look at. And you know, the amazing thing is that, in a way, the reason it looks the same is because of Ruskin. You know, that he managed to stop us from basically trashing this landscape. He made us value it, he made us understand it and see it in a different light.
But when Ruskin died in 1900, how we used the lakes was changing. Hill walking and rock climbing were the new leisure activities, and the first adventurers met in Coniston to form their own club. It It was here, in this very room in 1906, that the Felon Rock Climbing Club was first formed. And you can imagine the scene, can't you? They've probably been up on the crag all day, putting in big, hairy, new routes. And in the evening, they're in here, tweed jackets on, smoking a pipe, a few glasses of whiskey, with the stories getting bigger and bigger through the evening. The techniques that were learned in the lakes help propel climbing to a whole new level. And the Felon Rock Climbing Club produced these definitive guides to the great Lake District buttresses, including this one, Dow Crag. To get to the climbing cliffs of Dow Crag takes around an hour and a half of steady walking. It's a popular route, as it's also one of the ways of getting to the summit of the Old Man of Coniston. I've been rock climbing for more than 50 years, and because Dow Crag is just 10 miles from where I live, I come here quite a bit. Well, there it is, Dow Crag. Big, bold, and just like its reputation, it's very imposing. It's a magnet for climbers, so I'm going to try one of its classic routes with the help of Nina Stirrup and her granddad, David Miller.
And there's a big range of routes on here, so people of all grades can climb and enjoy the place. The routes they first climbed over 100 years ago were very hard, even by modern standards, and a lot of modern climbers would find them big undertakings, including the route you're going to do, which was climbed in 1918.
What is it about rock climbing in the Lake District, Nina?
Well, I think first of all the scenery is just speaks for itself really. It's amazing, but also the lack of people as well. You're quite often by yourself on a crag, or you're not distracted by other people. Yeah, I like that.
There were few distractions for the pioneers of climbing. They had one simple goal: to scale new heights in some of the best climbing country on the planet. You know, the ropes and everything must have been so different.
Very primitive. They would simply tie it around the waist with a ball in, which is a traditional knot. And you'd climb with that, and if you fell off, I'm afraid you were in for a nasty injury, probably at best.
Wow.
And you imagine falling off onto that rope around your waist.
How about the gear we're using today, Nina?
Yeah,
what do you got?
Well, it's a lot different. We've got a lot,
yes,
a lot more gear.
Yes, a lovely modern rack of gear.
Yes.
But what about the route itself? Have you got any tips for me?
Yeah, just be careful on the traverse really. I try and place lots of gear, but obviously if you fall off, you're going to swing and maybe splat.
I promise not to squawk. Okay. Nina and I are attempting what's known as Murray's route. It looks pretty daunting. It's good this Nina's doing a great thing. First of all, she's making it look very easy, which is slightly worrying. But secondly, she's putting in some nice early pieces of protection so that if she did slip early on in the climb, she wouldn't come back to here. I could hold her. So it's a great demonstration of rock climbing. And now I want to pay attention because we're getting to what looks like the crux, the hard part of the climb. And wouldn't you know it, it's in the first bit of the climb.
Okay, Paul, I'm belay. Climb when ready.
Right. I'm off the ground now. Nina made this up and leftward traverse look really, really easy. But from here, I must say, it looks quite the challenge. And now, I'm thinking, what do I do? I'm not kidding, she did make this bit look easy. Full respect to the old boys who first did this route a century ago. Oof. God, flippin' heck. Yeah, this was put up in 1918 with, you know, big, heavy mountaineering boots and hard lay ropes tied around the waist, and you absolutely couldn't fall. Let me tell you, it's a great illustration as to how tough those early climbers really were. Right. It's a great route, and Nina has skipped up. She has climbing buried deep in her DNA.
My great uncle, I think he was the first climber in our family, but I may be wrong. And then my granddad got into it as well when he was quite young. And I've always just kind of done it there, really. It's part of the family. Always been dragged out, and now it's just habit, I guess.
Nina has set the pace, But now I've reached the traverse she warned me about. It's not for the faint-hearted. I go round this corner and there's a very airy traverse to where Nina is. So, yeah, there's the rope going out, going to get me in a second, but yeah, interesting moment. Okay.
You're on the traverse now.
Well, I'm happy to be here. Phew. Wow, it's an exciting corner.
Yeah.
Wow, good value that. What a setting, you know, a bit of effort, a sense of adventure, and look, the Lake District. I'm on the final stretch of Murray's route. At 200 feet of climbing, it's been quite a challenge. But in Lake District terms, it's just a little one. Wow. Thank you, mate. That was really something, wasn't it?
Yeah, really good.
If you're talking about having adventures in the Lake District, this is it. With the rock climbing behind me, I'm back on the path and heading for the top of the Old Man of Coniston. It's a steep climb up from Goat's Water, but the views are worth the hard work. The Old Man is a relatively straightforward day hike. From the village of Coniston, it's just a couple of hours. But don't be fooled. If you're not prepared, it's still easy to get caught out. Classic Lake District weather this. Plenty of seasons, all in one day. I started down there baking hot. I've come up here, it's very windy and there's heavy rain in sight. And the visibility is up and down. I just hope it all holds so that I can get onto the top. Whatever the weather, the Old Man has always been a favourite. Because on a clear day, the experience is simply mind-blowing. Well, there you go, on top of the Old Man of Coniston, and it's always worth the effort, particularly on a gorgeous day like today. I mean, you can see the Irish Sea over there, behind me is the Central Fells and Scafell, down there is Coniston, of course. Just there's Windermere in beautiful clear air, and with a bit of help, I think I can even see my house. It's going to be a while before I get back home for a bath and a brew. So I may as well soak up the views before I head out on my next Lakeland adventure. When I'll get to grips with the locals in Eskdale and head for England's highest mountain in time for sunrise.